Cool. Yeah, so this is Dan Bacon. And
Who's watching this? Who's your professor?
He's like this intro to sport management.
Oh, okay, cool. Sport management, all right.
Yeah, okay, so...
back, right here, throw it up.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you do at the Jaycee Center that has to do with sports?
All right, so I work for the city of Raleigh, Parks and Rec at Jaycee Community Center, and been with the city for about 21 years now, 22 years now. So back in the day, my upbringing for sports was working, teaching classes, the little kid classes, and then when it came to organized sports, scorekeeping, refereeing, those type part-time jobs. You know what I mean? That came all the way up through.
So the little kid classes in
basketball, baseball, soccer, football, hockey, golf.
Oh, so it's like, it wasn't just like coaching leagues or something like that?
No, we put classes on so that we can also kind of introduce them to a sport before they get thrown into a league.
Okay.
So it's kind of, a happy progression for them to go. Then when they go into like T-ball, they know what's going on. They're not walking out there going, what's going on. So it's a big help for the parents for them to take a class before they go into the league. But now for just, moving up through the years, different rec centers that I worked in, now we host leagues at Jaycee Community Center. So for basketball, we host what's called the Pee Wee League, which is the 5 and 6 year olds, and we host the 7 and 8 year olds, which is the Mini Mite League.
Gotcha.
For basketball. Now you've got upper leagues, obviously, 9, 10, 11, 12, they're at other rec centers. For the football program, we host 3 teams. We host the 7 to 9, 9 to 11, and 11 to 13. For the baseball program, we host the 11, 12-year-old league, which is called the Bronco League, out on our ball fields here.
Okay.
So different sports, different things going on. Not every rec center takes every age group.
Yeah, so
we're
it's
in a district.
Kind of.
Yeah, we're in a district. So in our district, which is about 5 or 6 rec centers, in our district, District 3, we take on certain age groups in certain sports, and then another rec center will take another age group. And so that's how it breaks up nowadays. Back when I started, we ran a lot of the age groups out of one. Every rec center ran as many age groups as you could.
And I was just thinking, like, I had 2 brothers, and we were always going to different places. I guess maybe that does make sense in one facet because you get to go. It's kind of like going to your public school or that's closest to you. Like, you get to do everything is offered at the one that's closest to you. It doesn't really make sense logistics-wise to have everything offered at every one.
Yeah, as we grew as a city and the demand for space and fields and amount of kids that would register and stuff, you couldn't host everybody here. So for an example, for the last 2 seasons here at Jaycee, meaning winter of 16-17 and now winter of 17-18, in just those 2 age groups, we've hosted 24 teams out of one gymnasium. Along with that, we also host the adult basketball program. So you've got their league playing Monday, Wednesday, and our league playing Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for practices and stuff. And your gym is used every hour of every time that's available for those sporting things. So we couldn't host 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We don't have any room for it at all.
Do you have people, I see when I walked in, there were people playing basketball.
That's just walk up, open gym.
Yeah, so during that basketball season, is your gym booked like all the time?
Slammed. From 6 p.m. to when we close at 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. Saturday from 9 a.m. when we open till 3 p.m. when we close. And Sunday from 1 p.m. when we open till 6 p.m. when we close. Slammed.
So that's the kind of, like, you get slammed when you are the gym that is like in that specification for that.
Hosting those teams for that league. So for an example, let's say they decided that Jaycee was going to host the 9, 10-year-old boys, right? And let's say we ended up with 8 teams, and that's all we're hosting.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of open gym.
Open gym.
You know what I mean? And so the athletics department doesn't try to ever overload a gym so you can't have open gym. But in our situation, with the Pee Wee Mini and adult, we're centralized. We're right here.
Yeah.
This is easy for everybody. They sacrifice probably more of an open gym where we don't have it and they can go to method They can go to any rec center that's really close by to shoot open gym if they have time.
Yeah.
So they're giving opportunities within our district for open gym. We just don't carry a lot when it comes to basketball season.
Are you guys the busiest in your district?
For basketball, probably us in Laurel Hills. I think Laurel Hills, because they have a double gym. They have 2 gyms in the same facility.
Big.
I think they end up with quite a few teams over there also. But they can disperse them between, they could have open gym on one court and have practices on the other court. So it's a huge advantage to have a double gym.
That's true. Have you ever thought have they ever considered this one for a growth?
Yeah, this center, the only growth that really could happen was west. I'm sorry, going this way. So the rooms that we had added in were the fitness room and the meeting room. There was no budget whatsoever to talk about a double gym.
Yeah.
Is it needed? Sure. I mean, anything in the belt line, within the belt line,
Mm-hmm.
the growth and the amount of people and all that stuff, yeah, double gym would be utilized completely. But we were just happy. We got air conditioning a couple years ago, so that makes it 10 times better in the summer. So we really had no.
And I guess you aren't the only option for a gym. Kind of there's people at the YMCA.
Oh, for sure. Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club, YMCA,
Yeah,
even
they're all
rec centers
kind of
for Raleigh are close to us.
Yeah.
With gyms. Like I said, Method is right there. Laurel Hills is 7 minutes up behind Crabtree Valley Mall.
Yeah.
Chavis is right through downtown. I mean, there's rec centers that people can go to, but budget-wise, I'm sure there was no way that you're going to produce a second gym, in a facility here at least.
So this year, you guys have 28 basketball teams?
So we've got 24 in just the league that Amy and I run. With adult, they're probably running between 12 to maybe 15 or 16 teams out of here also.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're doing is you're saying, if you're running Pee Wee and Mini, you're having your coaches meeting, right? And you're bringing all the coaches in and the men and women who are volunteering and stuff. And you're like, okay, so here's an open practice schedule. You're a volunteer, so I'm not going to tell you, Carson, you have to practice on this date, this date, and this date. What the league says is you're going to get 6 practices before you start games.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't start games. We've chosen not to start games till January 1st, and that's the bulk of what the city does. Because with the little kids, you don't want to start them and then have a holiday break, and they forget everybody and everything, and then they come back, and so you wait. You let them practice all the way from November, first week in November to the end of December. Mm-hmm. So you tell the coaches, I'd say, hey, Carson, here are open dates, pick 6.
Yeah.
So you're practicing all the way through. And then during the season for those leagues, you don't practice. They get 15 minutes before game time to go out there and review their skills.
During the season, they don't have
practice. No, it's just game time. So during the season, we have more pockets of open gym time. Where we could let people come in. And a lot of people come in during the day if they can for open gym.
So it's really packed.
During
the basketball season.
Yeah, and I mean, it's cool. It keeps the day going, because if you come in, if you're working in a rec center and you've got something to do that morning, if you're splitting shifts or whatever, and you come in and you start your day at noon, you have to work 8-hour day, typically, 7.75, but 8-hour day. You get to watch the tail end of your day is watching basketball and participate and interacting with your coaches and the kids. So it's an exciting time for people in the profession when you're involved with everybody doing stuff. You know what I mean? So it makes the day go a lot faster when you come in, you get something done in the morning, then you come in and work your split shift towards the end of the day. Yeah,
that's cool. So what kind of percentage would you say is you're managing the sports that go on here? And then what percentage would you say is actually managing the facility?
Yeah. With sports, it's always going to be seasonal. Mm-hmm. It's never going to be a constant thing. So, and I get asked that question, quite often about, hey, well, how would you say your typical day is, or percentage-wise? Nothing's ever typical in recreation because it ebbs and flows. Mm-hmm. As basketball comes in, Amy and I are committed a lot more. Yeah. We'll spend entire days just doing basketball. And we'll spend maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour rapidly catching up on our emails to just say, hey, we're busy. You know what I mean? Or, hey, you need that? Okay. Because you've got to focus on getting everybody's things going. You know what I mean? So the ebb and flow is when basketball's over before summer camp starts, which takes a tremendous amount of our time.
Yeah.
you're not involved with really too much athletics at all. So percentage-wise, seasonally is mostly what you're going to look at. You know what I mean? You're going to say, okay, from, mid-October through the beginning of March, they're probably utilizing about, on average, if you average it all together, probably 30% of your day is focused on, hey, how did the games go? What happened last night? What's going on now? Do I have scorekeepers in place? Managing it. 30% of your time, would absolutely be tied into that. And then 70% of your time are customer relations, people that are coming in, things like that, or whatever, rentals, facility issues, like you saw the cones when you walked in.
Yeah.
I had somebody that, said, hey, do you realize all the bricks on the front are popped up, and somebody could get hurt. So, I mean, you wear 100 different hats all day long, and we also run off-site facilities. So, hey, I need you to run out to this other facility. Well, heck, if you're only working 7.75 hours, and it takes you 2 hours to run out there and come back, how do you percentage what you did during the day? It's like, you don't know. Like tomorrow we're in training all day long from 8:45 to 5. You know what I mean? So it's good for you because you're seeing that it's not a come in, do this job, and go home.
And you kind of you're doing the same thing. It's like,
it's cool. Every day is different. Every day is completely different. It's, my brother's an accountant. He
does the same thing.
That's it. He's working on taxes,
That's cool. So are you guys involved, do you get a whole lot of people that are just, you'd say that are just from the community and they utilize this facility a whole bunch because they can't really, can't afford to just go out and get a membership wherever, but this is utilized as something where it's oh, thank goodness for Jaycee.
This is our center. We do. We get a couple people that you would consider in the language of locals.
Yeah.
But we're definitely not going to be set up that way where we are in Wade Avenue, right off of 440. We're a thoroughfare for everybody. So what you'll find they're here for their event activity program, and that's really it. They stop in, they do their activity, and they're out. They're not walking up to the front desk, hey, how's everybody doing? What's new? What's going on here? No, we're a I'm trying to think of the word. We're like a train depot almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They just come in, do their thing, and they go right back out. I mean, that's the reality of it. For summer camp, that's why I think we have great summer camps. However, we fill up in 3 minutes for the whole summer because we're ultra convenient to everybody.
Yeah.
And our quality, our standards are really high. You know what I mean? So our programs, and with athletics, I think you get a few of what you're talking about. You get a few guys that come in and are like, hey, Dan, I grew up here.
Yeah.
I played on that baseball field, but that's very, very few and far between.
Yeah.
I think you find a lot of the kids that grew up here, in maybe Jaycee's community, just disperse. They don't stay here. We've got a couple kids that come down from the Mayview complex, right up there. They come down and this is their home turf in a sense. It's their rec
place
center.
Where they go after school.
Yeah, but it's not that kind of center. There's a lot of centers out there where people come because it's there.
Or like Method. I mean, where
they all come because it's right
go
there.
Go after school every day, that kind of stuff.
Yep, and they take, the pride is there. Here is just kind of a transitional place.
Yeah.
People are always moving through.
So, do you guys have a lot of, I know you guys have a couple of employees, but I'm seeing that, say during basketball season, do you guys have people that work under you that you're managing, or you kind of just
so you have
the
seasonal
commissioner
employees
of the league and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you have just your brain's already knowing, a lot of what we do. You just probably have to see it on a day-to-day to see what it really consists of. But for my leagues, we have scorekeepers, which they go in, they work in the gym during game time, and all part-time. Yeah, all part-time. Yeah, so every sport or camp or anything like that, seasonally you'll go up in employees, and then it tiers down. And that's also good because employees can only work 999 hours in any 365 days. So you can't work somebody all the time or they'll use up their hours. So I'll bring in a lot of guys that are 15, 16, 17 years old because scorekeeping, stuff like that is their first job they've ever had.
Yeah.
It's their first experience to go, oh yeah, I'm working. I got a paycheck. And it's good money for them. It's great money. If you're 15 and you're trying to save up for a car, and you're making $10 an hour, you're like, heck yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're off on the weekend, so you could pull 6 hours on Saturday, not a bad gig.
Yeah.
You know? So kind of, amount of employees under me, I don't know, at any one point in time, if it was a high season, I might have like 25, 30 underneath me.
Yeah,
you know?
And you're like scheduling them and stuff like that, but it's really seasonal.
It is, because right now when we're kind of if there's an ebb and a flow, we're in the down right now because we're about to pick back up with basketball when it starts in.
Yeah.
So we've gotten away from camp. We've kind of thinned out everybody. You know what I mean? As far as that goes, their hours have thinned out, and then sports start picking up, so they start picking up hours again.
Yeah. Okay. So with these, I'm getting that, you're, with facility wise, you're not doing a whole bunch of just managing a bunch of employees. It's more or less, you're kind of like what you were saying, like a train station kind of person, and you're just making sure that people are coming here using the facilities and they just go, and then.
Employees will do the same thing, and it's not meant. That's not meant in a negative. They're just doing the same thing because they're following employment.
Yeah.
So, for an example, we're like a train depot for summer. Summer we get 16 new employees, and at the end of summer we might retain 1 or 2 or 3, maybe. Yeah. Because you're all of a sudden 16 new employees, with personalities and everything, and run activities, and actually during the spring, summer, and fall we run sand volleyball. So we're hiring people to work in the sand volleyball environment, working that. So it's a constant, you make friends with everybody's here, and then boof, they're gone. And then they start trickling back in, some of them during winter, and then boof, they're gone.
Yeah.
And then summer comes again, and you're flooded, where everybody's back. So it's a unique environment. It's not consistent at all. You might have a couple people like you saw when you walked in where Sandy and Marcus work the front desk, and a couple people work the front desk. So sports-wise, that's good for you to have that. Sports-wise, if people come in to register for things or whatever, if you can be consistent with your employees during registrations and all that stuff, the people appreciate that because they're like, hey, I spoke to you on the phone. And they're like, yeah, come here, sign this. You know what I mean? It just keeps it consistent.
Yeah.
And we just, like I said, just try to give them some hours over the winter.
Yeah.
Get everybody through.
Yeah. So since because I know you came from the PRT at State, what would you say that are some of your strengths that you've been able to use in this type of job arena?
When I know I told you guys, I told most groups that come through or whatever, Parks and Rec became my home, my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I was accepted there, you know what I mean, in all my craziness, and I was accepted there, and I was like, wow. So also realizing that one of my extreme weaknesses is organization, details, and all that stuff. I found my niche in Parks and Rec is just my outgoing personality.
Yeah,
just the fact that I love people and that I just want to be around people and I want the best for them. And I want to help them beyond what a normal person probably would want to help them.
Yeah.
A normal person would be like, okay, you're good. All right, I'm good. No, my brain just
like,
goes way beyond that. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, and in the Raleigh Parks and Rec system, it connected because it's great to have in a rec center. It's great to have like a yin and yang. You've got to have somebody that's really loud and out with the public and blah blah blah, and then someone who's detailed and oriented and structured and we know who that is here. And it's a beautiful relationship because the person, generally speaking, the person who's outgoing and all that will handle any kind of stressful situations that come up with the public. And the other person doesn't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, I don't want to go deal with that abrasive customer. You know what I mean? I don't want to be, feel threatened at all or whatever. And you're like, okay, well that's okay because I'll handle all those. You know what I mean? So it kind of that was my niche. That's why I fit in. It was like, oh, this guy will talk anybody to death. You know what I mean? So that and the fact that, like I said, I live, eat, and breathe the city of Raleigh Parks and Rec. It's just what I love. It's the people I love and everything.
And how the whole system works.
Yeah, and NC State prepares you for finding your place. So I found as I went through NC State, the professors that were there at the time, the experiences that I went through, the off-campus work that we did and stuff, helped me realize, oh, I want to be in a rec center. Whereas, Parks and Rec is a massive spectrum of jobs.
Yeah.
So, you may get out thinking, I want this, but you end up
me something else.
oh my, Dan, I can't believe it. I'm in Utah running, excursions, doing
Yeah.
something. I'm like, what? But it's because you're in there right now. You're trying to find your voice. You're trying to find out where's Carson's path.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, you may leave and think I'm going this route. You do it for a year, and you go, okay, I've realized. Right. You're like, wow, I met this other person. They're doing this in recreation. I never thought about that, but it charges my batteries. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go that route. I kind of got out. I told you I did the little walkabout, finding myself after college, and then realized I need to be in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
I need to be back where I was at school because ultimately I want to work for NC State. That's my ultimate goal.
So that's like your dream job?
It will happen. It will happen. It will happen. That thing's recording, right? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
Technology's terrible to me. I will give the city 30 years, you know what I mean, of me, and then I'm going to go work for NC State. And when everybody, what are you going to do? I don't care. Give me a room. I'm like, I don't care one bit. Just let me be on campus. Yeah. Because when I see you guys every semester and I see what your minds are like wide open, you know what I mean? And you just like fill me with energy because it's just neat what y'all are exposed to and what your experience in college was compared to mine. So I didn't know if you want to go back to what we're really talking about with athletics and stuff. I played all the way through when I was a child, but I never would have imagined I'd be organizing leagues.
Organizing kids doing that.
No. You don't think of that, whatever. And then it slowly became a reality. I slowly got mentored by guys that were like, hey, this Parks and Rec gig, the rec center is where you want to be. Yeah. Not working just for athletics, just for specialized rec, just for the teens program. No.
It's
your
like
personality is you need to be in the center of everything.
Which is kind of funny because you work at a center, but you also just want to be like the center of all those different spectrum.
Everything goes through Amy and I.
Yeah.
It's really neat. It makes a day. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to come to work and dread coming to work. That would be
that's the worst.
Horrible. Like horrible.
Yeah. Where you're kind of, and I'd say like after learning from you, it was kind of like almost like a mission-minded kind of thing. You're not like coming in like I'm just coming here to bring them the bacon. But it's like as long as I can make the people around me have like a great experience doing this and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
It really fills your cup, man. It really does.
Well, and it keeps you coming back too.
You just wake up and you're like, all right, who am I going to touch today?
Yeah.
Who's going to walk in the center and just be like, hey, I need this, and you just help them. To a whole. I can't even tell you how many times I've had people come in and all of a sudden they end up in the back office and we end up talking for 2 hours.
Yeah.
For no reason, just who I am. It's just I'm in the place I'm supposed to be in.
Yeah. Well, that's all I really need.
Yeah.
Just is probably even more than I need because.